Hi everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads, and today I have for you Bookmas Day 18. I have a couple of cards I'm going to show off, and then I have a massive book haul. 20 books this month, I believe I counted, so it's massive for a month. But Christmas gifts, I want to give away. I sold books at Half Price Books. I used some Pago bucks, and yes, I did spend some of my own money. But here we are, last book haul of the year. So first, since they're on top of my Advent calendar box, I'm going to show you a couple of cards I received in the mail. So first, this is a diamond painting. And I mean, I know people do them. I just have never seen one up close. But this is from someone that I've known. I met her and her husband through a Bible study that I was in like 20 years ago. Sorry, my neighbors just started screaming. Fun times. So if you hear anything that's loud, those are my neighbors. At any rate, so she had posted that she had made a few of these cards online. It was like, oh, does anyone want one? Let me know. And I said, oh, I like the red one. So she mailed this to me, and it's so pretty. This is a card that I'm not going to recycle. I will pack up and put back out, or maybe I'll try to find a frame and frame it because it's just so cute. And then Cajun Peach, whom I have met, she's a subscriber, and I met her through like some live sprints over at Tiffany's channel, at Killing Time or Beach Bum Bookworm, and Storm over at Stormy Reads, and Sarah at the Bookish Knitter, and then PK at Bookie Monsters. We've just engaged in the chat there, and she so kindly sent me this card, which is super cute. I like sloths. And then inside I have a snowman bookmark, which I love snowmen. And then some winter stickers. And since they're winter and not just Christmas, like these are like, yes, they're trees, but they could be up in January too. I'll probably use them in my January planner. So thank you so much for that. And now on, my Advent unboxing. So this box is so falling, like it's ripped, it's falling apart, but you know what? It's fine. It's all going in the recycle bin. All right, day 18 gives me breakfast blend, smooth blend of Costa Rica and Colombia. So that's what I got. All right, so now let's get into the book haul. I need to make space for these, so that's why I'm doing it a little bit earlier in the month because I need to make space. It's a lot. So first, I was part of a Secret Santa gift exchange at my work, and I put down that I like to read in some of my genres. But I got books that are not in my preferred genre. That's okay. I will give them a go and try. So first I got The Lying Game by Ruth Ware, and I have no clue what this is about because the back of it says nothing. Although I'm assuming here's the New York Times book review. It says a single cryptic text, I Need You, reunites four friends in the stippled light of an English seaside village, just as surely as it signals readers that they're in the hands of a pro. Is there a dock on this? No, but it looks like a shattered window. I was hoping there would be a dock if we were talking about seaside village, but there's not. So I got that. And then she also gave me, it's called Dearly by Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood wrote The Handmaid's Tale and Alias Grace. And years ago, I read Blind Assassin by her, which was okay. But I loved Handmaid's Tale and Alias Grace. So she gave me this book, and it's just a book of poetry. And I know as an English major, I hate poetry. But I hate most poetry. But I'll give this a try because I do like Margaret Atwood. So I will give that a try before I decide whether I want to pass it on or not. So there's that. then I sold, like, I brought 5 bags, like a trunk load of books and DVDs and CDs. Like, I cleared out most of my DVDs. The only DVDs that I kept were like the Jane Austen ones that I have, and I think I kept the Charlie Brown holiday specials that I have. And then I sold like all my DVDs because it's like with streaming services. I mean, I don't listen to physical copies, and I don't typically watch physical copies of movies anymore. So I sold all those, and then I had the complete works of Shakespeare on audio. It's like an Archangel complete set, and I picked that up from, like, when my father passed away, he had them, and so I grabbed them. Well, I've had them since 2012, and I have never listened to them. And so I said, it's time to just move them on. It'll go to a good home. So I sold back $119 worth of stuff to Half Price Books. And if you go to Half Price Books, you know that's unheard of. I wasn't going to, but I went to town. I did spend that money. So here's what I got. I got Ashes by Laurie Halsey Anderson, and I think I have Chains. And this is part of a series of books. So it's the Seeds of America trilogy. So I have Chains. I don't have Forge. So I'm not going to read the back of that because it's a series. Then I picked up The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. I'm part of a virtual book club that I'm in, and we're reading this in December. So I do need to make progress with this over winter break. And this is about a woman, Anne Stillwell. She is working over the summer as a curatorial associate at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But she's assigned to the Cloisters, which is a medieval art museum and garden. And she meets researchers there studying the history of tarot. So it sounds like it's dark academia. Like hints of thriller. I don't know. The cover is absolutely beautiful. So I need to put that aside so I can read that this month. And then I picked up at Half Price Books The Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. And I read Assistant to the Villain last month with my virtual book club, and I enjoyed it. Like, it was light fun. It was not great literature by any means, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it, and I would read it again, and I wanted to continue on in the story. So this is about Evie Sage, and she gets hired on to the villain, and it's kind of like just quirky nods to fairy tales, and yeah. I did gasp. I will say this. I did gasp out loud because I did not see the twist coming in Apprentice to the Villain. And then, because I had time when I was visiting friends in the suburbs, because I had time and I still had money from my sale at Half Price Books, I went to Barnes & Noble. And at Barnes & Noble, I picked up The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And I am very much looking forward to this. I did start reading it and then I stopped reading it, so I got to pick this back up again. But it's about Kiala, who is a librarian, and her town and the library burn, and she and a sentient spider plant, they escape by river, and she goes back. She takes some of the crates of books with her, and she goes back to her hometown and her cabin, and this was in the romantasy category for a Goodreads choice. So, and it's just such a beautiful cover, and I've heard nothing but praise for this book. So let me set that to the side because that's another one that I need to prioritize. And then I did pick up Assistant to the Villain at Barnes and Noble by Hannah Nicole Mayer. So I'm not going to go into it because I kind of described it already when I was looking at Apprentice to the Villain. And then I also grabbed Unraveled by Shannon Messenger, which is book 9.5 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. I'm on book 8, so I still have to read 8, 8.5, and 9 before I get to this. But I've really been enjoying the series, and this one is actually short. Like, I think one of the ones that I read over the summer was over 800 pages, but they read super fast. Like, you could read it in like 2 or 3 days, but it's a middle grade series about Sophie, who is an elf. She's raised by humans. She doesn't realize that she's an elf until she's like 12 or 13 years old. And she learns that she's an elf and is taken to the elfin world to learn about her and what it means to be an elf. And she's got these special abilities. And why does she have these special abilities? So there's that. Okay, and then it was Black Friday deals, and it was only $10 on it at Amazon. And now I'm kind of like, and so many people raved about it, but then lately I've been watching some booktubers as they've been reading the Romantasy, like top 10 finalists for Goodreads, and they're all like, we don't like it, we don't like it. So I'm really nervous because she's a chonky beast. And that is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. And this says that it is, as an assassin for the rebellion group, Few Du Ath, I don't know, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter turns her world upside down, blood spills, hearts break, and Rave finds herself imprisoned by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae who turn her into a political statement. Crushed by the loss of his great love, Can Vager took the head of the king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ebbing ache in his chest, a clue lures him into the capital's high-security prison, where he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Like, I don't know. I am on a Romantasy kick, so I wanted to give this a shot because I've heard so many people rave about it, and then a couple of big booktubers were like, yeah, I hated this. So we shall see how I fall. And if I don't end up liking it, it was only $10. It's okay. It's okay. And then let me do these two. Then this was, I've been saving this since Thanksgiving. This was my Christmas gift from my brother. So first he gave me off of my wish list The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I've heard fantastic things about this from Amy over at Amy's Bookish Life and Krista over at Books and Jams, and they're like, oh, you'll like this book. So I added it to my wish list, and this is about Ada, who's 10 years old, and she has never left her one-room apartment. Her cruel mother is too humiliated by Ada's twisted foot to let her outside. Ooh, and I, as a special education teacher, I am excited to read books that are middle grade levels because I have struggling readers. Yes, I teach high school, but my students' reading levels are very low. So that's awesome that it's a middle grade book, and I've got some disability representation. So when her little brother Jamie is shipped out of London to escape the war, Ada sneaks away to join him. So Ada and Jamie are forced upon Susan Smith, a woman used to having only herself to care for. Oh, this looks exciting. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. And then he also gave me The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. And I put this on my wish list after hearing Danny over at Danny Dabbles rave about this book. And look at it, it's got pretty end papers. And this is about Cassie Andrews. She works in a New York City bookstore, shelving books, making coffee for customers, and living an unassuming, ordinary life until the day one of her favorite customers, a lonely yet charming old man, dies at his usual table in the store. Cassie is devastated. She always loved his stories. Now she has nothing to remember him by. Nothing, that is, but the last book he was reading, and one other he left for Cassie. But the other book, covered in faded, cracked leather, is no ordinary book. It is the Book of Doors. Inscribed with enigmatic words and mysterious drawings, it promises Cassie that any door is every door. She just needs to know how to open it. So then I don't know, it looked very interesting, and people are willing to kill for these secrets that are found in this book. It looked very interesting, and so looking forward to trying that. Was that my brother? Who gave this to me? No, this was my nephew. My nephew gave me this. I misspoke. My nephew gave me that. My brother did give me The War That Saved My Life. Okay, my brother also gave me James by Percival Everett. And this is the book that is a kind of, I don't want to say retelling, but it's the story of James, who was the slave that is escaping to freedom in Huckleberry Finn, and is traveling with Huck and Huckleberry Finn. And the story is told from his perspective. Now, I was watching, I believe I was watching, it was the PBS book club that I was watching. So on YouTube, I found PBS does a book club, which I didn't know. And they were having their episode of the best books of the year. And they were talking about this audiobook. And the reason why they recommend listening to the audiobook, I'm not a big fan of audiobooks. I have a hard time with them. So who knows, maybe I'll do a tandem read. But they said it was fascinating to hear the code switching that is in this book that James does. But I'm looking forward to reading this. All right, then I had a wine night at the beginning of the month with my friends, and we always do kind of like some gift exchange. Like we either do like bring something that's wine theme related. We've done White Elephant. Well, this time around, I said, you're going to do a blind date with a book. And so pick a book that is a favorite of yours and then write a description. I explained to them what a blind date with a book is in case they didn't know. And the book that I got one book that I really liked and someone stole it from me and I'm so upset. I was so upset. But the book that I end up stealing from someone else, I was like, ooh, I wanted to read that anyway. And so I got This Time Next Year, and the description on it was, it's a girly read. So, but this is by Sophie Cousins, and this is about Minnie Cooper and Quinn Hamilton. And their mothers gave birth to them at the same hospital just after midnight on New Year's Day. Quinn was given the cash prize for being the first baby born in London in 1990. And Minnie was supposed to have that as well, but she runs into him at a New Year's party on their mutual 30th birthday, and she sees only more evidence that fortune has continued to favor him. The gorgeous, charming business owner truly seems to have it all, while Minnie's on the brink of losing her pie-making company and her home. But if Quinn and Minnie are from different worlds, why do they keep bumping into each other? And why is it that each fraught encounter leaves them both wanting more? So yeah, I'm off on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so a very timely read. So I'm going to set that aside so I know that I can read that around then. And then I'm going to go into some cozy reads that I grabbed. So I have been I've started reading the Cat Who series, and I've read books 1 through 4. I just finished book 4 this month. So I picked with some Pango bucks, and I did have to pay a little bit, I think. But with some Pango bucks, I picked up book 5, which is The Cat Who Played Brahms. And I picked up book 6, which is The Cat Who Played Post Office. So, and this is about Jim Quillerin, and he's a newspaper reporter. He's kind of he lost a fairly decent paying job and is on his down on his luck, and he's in a small town. He did, gosh, he's done a couple of different things. Like he did antiquities and art, and then he was doing restaurant critiques. I don't know what he's doing now. He used to be like in a big city reporter, reporting crime, and now he's just doing what he can to make ends meet. But in the earlier books, he ends up somehow inheriting, like getting two Siamese cats from two different previous owners. And these cats are super smart. And I've really enjoyed, honestly, the cats more than Quillerin, to be perfectly honest, because Quillerin is kind of misogynistic. It's, I mean, it was written in the 60s, but it's just very blatant. And I'm hoping it gets better. I do enjoy, it's more like fluff in between like some of my chunky classics and fantasy. So yeah. And then Kat did a giveaway, and I will oh my gosh, I feel so terrible. Kat's Novels Adventures. I had to think for a minute for a channel, because her channel name, because I subscribe to quite a few, and like I know the name, I just don't remember the channel name, because sometimes the name of the booktuber and the name of the channel are two different things. But Kat was doing a giveaway, and several people won books, and I was able to pick the book that I wanted. We all got to pick the books that we wanted, but I picked the Agatha Christie book. This is the ABC Murders. It's a Hercule Poirot. I have read a couple, and I really need to and want to read more by her. And this just says, A is for Mrs. Archer, fatally attacked in Andover. B is for Betty Bernard, strangled on the beach in Bexel. C is for Sir Carmichael Clark, now a corpse in Churston. If nothing else, the murderer knew his ABCs, but the alphabetical assassin would need to know more than that to outwit the world's cleverest detective, Hercule Poirot. So I do want to read this, and then I want to watch the adaptation of it. I'm going to pause my cozy mysteries to show you. So when I was at Barnes & Noble with my Boku bucks from Half Price Books, it was, members can earn, like with the purchase, free book plates. So I got these cute free book plates that I can put in my books, either if I loan them out or books that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to read them, but these can go into my classroom library. All right. Then on Killing Time with Cozy's Discord, we did a secret elf exchange. And so you shared you signed up on Elfster and you shared your wish list, or you created a wish list on Elfster, and you were matched with someone and you gifted books or you got books. And so my secret elf was Elizabeth, and I got a Salted Caramel by Amanda Flower. And this is the first in the Amish candy shop mysteries, which I've heard like everyone in the Discord and in the live shows, they love this series. So I decided to give it a try. And this is Bailey King is living this sweet life as assistant chocolatier at world famous J.P. Chocolates in New York City. But just when Bailey's up for a life-changing promotion, her grandmother calls with news that her grandfather's heart condition has worsened. Bailey rushes to Harvest, Ohio, where her grandparents still run Swissman Sweets, the Amish candy shop where she was first introduced to delicious fudges, truffles, and other assorted delights. She finds her grandfather's doing better than she feared. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the local English developer, whom Bailey finds dead in the candy shop kitchen with Jebediah King's chocolate knife buried in his chest. So, of course, they have to investigate that murder. And then I also got, from that gift exchange, Cheddar Off Dead by Corina Moss. And this is the first in the Cheese Shop mystery. And this is about a cheesemonger who is proving that sweet dreams are made of cheese. This is Willa Bauer. Sweet dreams are made of cheese. I love that pun. It's a Eurythmics song. She's opened her very own French-inspired cheese shop, Curds and Whey, in the heart of Sonoma Valley. Ooh, I just see myself eating cheese and drinking wine while reading this book. So I am looking forward to that. I don't know if there's recipes in this. There's a grilled cheese one. Oh, there is. I just saw a recipe. Gruyere slathered croque monsieur and fontina and friends fondue. Yum. And then from my sister, part of my Christmas gift was The Mistletoe Mystery by Nita Prose. I still need to read The Mystery Guest, which is book 2. This is book 3. It's a novella. So I know I'm not going to read The Mystery Guest before I read this month, which I would need to read before I read this. So maybe Christmas in July or Christmas next year. And then my book of the month, I picked up The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. I absolutely love the cover because it's so campy. But this is like a rom-com mystery. And it's about Maggie Chase and Ethan Wyatt. Maggie Chase is the queen of cozy mystery. Ethan is Mr. Big Time Thriller guy. She hates his guts. He thinks her name is Marcy, no matter how many times she's told him otherwise. But they've both accepted an invitation to attend a Christmas house party in an English estate of a reclusive fan. Neither is expecting their host to be the most powerful author in the world, Eleanor Ashley, the Duchess of Death herself. That night, the weather turns, and the next morning, Eleanor is gone. She vanished from a locked room, and Maggie has to wonder, is Eleanor in danger? Was it some kind of test? Is Ethan the competition? Or is he the only person in that snowbound mansion she can trust? Looking forward to reading this book later this month. Got to put that aside. And then I had some Pango bucks that helped pay for this book. And I picked up Manslaughter Park by Tirza Price. This is book 3 in the Jane Austen murder mystery series. And 2025 is the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. So maybe I'll read this. And I still need to read Mansfield Park. So that's another book that I haven't read yet. So, but this is aspiring artist Fanny Price is an unwelcome guest at her uncle Sir Thomas Bertram's estate. It's his affection for Fanny that's keeping her from being forced out by her cousins Tom and Maria and nasty Aunt Norris back to a home to which she never wants to return. But then Sir Thomas dies in a tragic accident inside his art emporium, and Fanny finds evidence of foul play that, if revealed, could further jeopardize her already precarious position. Edmund, her best friend and secret crush, urges Fanny to keep quiet about her discovery, but Fanny can't ignore the truth. A murderer is among them. I've really been enjoying this series. It's a YA take on and retelling of Jane Austen novels. And finally, this book has had quite the journey. So I pre-ordered this book back in July when Barnes & Noble's had, I say Nobles, I'm from the Chicagoland area. I'm from the south suburbs of Chicago. We tack on S's to stores. So Barnes & Noble's had a sale on pre-orders. So I pre-ordered this along with Air by Sabaa Tahir. This book came out December 6th. On December 9th, it ended up in Kansas City at a distribution center. It is December 16th. I still didn't have this book as of today. And it's still saying that it is, as of today when I went to work. And when I checked my tracking, it said that it's still in Kansas City. So I went to Barnes & Noble's and I showed them my tracking. And I said, look, I just want this book. Can I cancel that order? And then can I get this book at the sale price that I paid for? Because it was a good deal. Like, this is not a cheap book because it has a lot of pages. And it's a hardcover with a lot of pages. And so the guy was like, I don't see why that would be a problem. The manager was like, I don't see why that would be a problem, but let me see if we can cancel that order for you. So he tried multiple times to get a hold of corporate. They didn't answer. And finally he was like, just take the book with you. If the other one comes in the mail, please return it. I was like, of course I'm going to return it. Like, I don't need 2 books of this. And I'm not trying to scam a company, okay? Finally, after all of that hassle, I have When in Truth by Brandon Sanderson. When I'm going to read this, I don't know. I do want to read it in 2025. There's no way that I'm going to read it in 2024 because I'm only 200 pages into Rhythm of War. But this is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive. And while the Stormlight Archive is supposed to be a 10-book series, it's going to be in 2 different arcs. So this will complete the first arc. And I'm nervous. I am very nervous for this. I am very excited, but I'm also very nervous because I'm just feeling that someone's going to die. It hasn't happened yet, but I have a feeling someone's going to die. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And 31 minutes of a book haul. Have you read any of these books? What do you think I should prioritize? Like, I know for sure I'm going to be prioritizing When in Truth. That's one of my 50 books in 50 before I turn 50. So that has to be a priority. And then my book club books have to be a priority. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Bye.